Okay, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. My name is Steve. I'm the host for today's event. I'm the marketing director from Cloud Security Alliance Singapore chapter. Today, with me in my panel, I have Sabojit. He's the training director, as well as William. He's the education director. So today's topic is on cyber hygiene, cyber identity. So as we all know that today we can't live without our digital footprint. So we have a lot of email accounts, social accounts, professional work accounts, and a lot of website identity are also available. So keeping our accounts secure is already a very difficult challenge. The other part is on social media, you will have a lot more postings that could expose some of your personal information as well as your personal identity. So let me ask Sabojit, in terms of your experience, right, where do you see identity could be a risk and how we should, be more careful in terms of what we share and, how we should protect our data?
Right. Now, I will give you two small examples of what actually happened with people. One was a journalist who was traveling, and he was supposed to actually do some interview of some of the white hat hackers. And now one of these white hat hackers, he tried to play a little prank with this guy. So what he did was he sent him a quick link to his Squarespace. US, these things are quite popular. So this guy, he accepted to it and said that this is a pop-up to upgrade his Squarespace. And when he did that, his system got compromised. Then from there, he took control of the mobile, the video cam, and also the speakers and everything. And he recorded everything, all the keystrokes, all the videos, wherever he went from, coming, traveling from his place to this place of interview, everything. And when he showed him all these things, not only that, he had all his credit cards, all his identities and everything. And he got the one space where he, stores all his password. So then he has all his password. So, even though it was not an actual situation, but he then asked, hey, what was the problem that could have happened? What could have happened is, he said, what, I could have made you homeless and penniless because I could have paid, I could have spent things with your identity, with your name, and put you in big debt. And only thing is, except for your fingerprints, I can be you.
Yep.
So that is really a problem that we need to be cautious about. Now, the second one is actually something did happen. There's a lady who was very, very happy to share about her life, her family, her daughter, her husband, what he's doing, and how she's happily married, and post that to their friends in social media, and little bit of brag about it. Well, we all do it a little bit here and there. So she was very happy. Now she would put everything up, everything literally, So one day what happened was her husband was not around, and the daughter, and well, he was a very well-to-do, and the daughter was supposed to come back from school, and then the incidents were such that this child got, kidnapped by a few crooks who followed this family over Facebook and social media. So they had to do nothing, they had to go nowhere, only just watch Facebook and social media posts and know so much about them so they can really, kidnap the daughter and ask for a ransom. But luckily this girl was found, and the father had to spend some money. Now, these two things did have a so-called happy ending, but many times it is not so. So we have to ensure, we need a footprint, like people like me. I'm in as a trainer. Now, if I don't appear in social media, in LinkedIn and other places, people will not know me. It's a stake of my rice bowl. But then again, I receive these scam calls every day, because they know that, hey, this is someone, from the social media. They come to know about it. Now, the only way to not being the target is reduce the social media footprint as much as possible. Now, that is one thing. The other thing is we need to make sure that everything that happens in our life should not be put into the social media. And even if we do, we should know who are we sharing it with. All the social media, they have this facility today to restrict content to specific people. I think no one wants to stand in the crossing of Orchard Road and say that, hey, you know what, today I ate this, I went out with this, and we don't do that, right? But I think when we say the same thing in the social media, it equates the same thing, but we don't realize it. We think we are in our room. That means no one can hear us, but we are seen and heard by millions across the globe. So that is a real problem. We can be stalked without knowing. And we can be, really, if you make a small mistake, you can be phished, you can be, taken advantage of to such limits that I don't know what can be the real issue. I mean, what can be the thing? But, of course, kings seem to be very scary.
It is.
Very scary.
Yeah, yeah, to me, that resonates to me when in the past when we still can travel, before pre-COVID days, right? I have friends who say that, oh, now I'm on my way, my whole family is on our way to a family holiday somewhere for like 2 weeks. It's like, wow, bro, what are you doing, man? You're telling the whole world they can come and shop in your home, man. There's no one around.
Yeah.
I mean, that's how dangerous it is, right? I mean, you want to show that you're going to have a good family vacation is good, but I think telling it too early, maybe after when you have come back, I think when then you show it, I think it's fine. It's safer that way, right? Rather than telling people where you are. People will know that you are so far away, nobody at home, right? That kind of stuff. So I think maybe from William's side, what's the experience in terms of, identity? Maybe from, how we should, understand how the various platforms' privacy setting is set up, how we should be more careful in terms of what information we're sharing to who, like what Saboji has mentioned, right? You can actually share to your close friend. But the question is always that, are these close friends the real close friends you have? Question mark.
Yeah.
Right? And whether they are friends of friends, like in the Facebook in the past, there's friends of friends who can still see your information. So it's quite loose in that.
Yes, and definitely from the social media point of view, I think a lot of us have social media account. I think first important thing is to protect the account and password that you have. I think that was the entry point into the social media account. I think second thing, as Sabaji also yourself mentioned about the privacy setting. I think nowadays, at least you are given the option to set some of this privacy setting that who you want to share some of this information article with. I think this is important for most of us, that we need to set this thing, because we don't want to share everything with anyone else or everyone. We want to choose which party you want to share. I think this one will give us some layer of protection in terms of sharing. I think the account password will be the first layer. And of course, if you can, some of this social media platform will allow you to have multi-factor authentication. Try to make use of that, because it will give you another layer of protection. That one, if someone actually hack into your social media account and get your account password, that at least a second factor will authenticate the person, the identity of the person, before allowing to log into their platform. That is another layer of protection given. Of course, the other thing is that, as Steve mentioned, if you're going to travel, it's no good to sharing all these things that you're going on which day you're going away, all these things, and open up the whole area for whoever you're going to inviting them into your location or premises. I think not to share anything that you think you would like to share anyhow. I think this is something that you need to take note. And the other point is that some of this social media account, when we created account, actually we put in the company organization, which company you're working on, which organization. I think it's important for the user to understand that you do not post messages that are maybe offensive messages of something that is not right in that sense. And you have an implication to your organization or company, because if your privacy setting is not good, someone will be able to find out which company you're working from, and maybe there's some reputation damages to a company, you post some messages that affecting the operation of the business or leaking some of the information out to the public. I think this is something that we have to be a bit more careful, especially when we come to social media. We are in the free form. We can share whatever we want, we can say whatever we want, but we do have to put in some restriction and also something to control our sharing information. I think this one will be more helpful in that sense. Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I mean, there's always one saying, right? Data lives forever in the internet.
Yeah, correct. Yes,
Even you have deleted it, Google will cache it, Bing will also cache it and all kind of things. Like, so data is always there, as long as people spend time to go and scroll and search, or maybe somebody just take a snapshot of the information and just store it and share. So data is always there. So it's a really high risk. So maybe coming back to Sabojit, in terms of identity, I mean, in terms of like social media posting, like what William has mentioned, we just need to be sensitive. Is it feasible to really separate your professional life from your social life? Is that something easy to be done?
All right. Yeah. Now, one thing I would say, in social life, if we are creating social media account for our own social life, it's better not to mention our actual name in its reality. Now, your friends will know, but those people who don't know you, but maybe your friends, I mean, I don't know who is forwarding today. Message forwarding is kind of a fab, right? So people who don't know you at least will not be able to, profile you so easily. And if you are in LinkedIn, then you have to stay very strict within LinkedIn. But unfortunately, there are also people who are lurking in there. Now, the best thing is actually to reduce this footprint. But if you have to, but then stay in there and always have in your mind that I could be at risk. So do not let your guards down at any point in time. And do not mix these two things. As we know, cocktails can be very dangerous. So we have to be very, very cautious about. In a few days earlier, actually, a case came to me. It happened in India. So there was a few people in last December, the year end, little bit of party in one of the banks, international bank. And these people had a little party. So they had a few drinks and a little bit of fun. And someone took a photo and posted it in Facebook. And that went a little viral. And these people come to know, and they were really scared. And they asked me how to delete that. I say, yeah, no one. Now there's no way, nothing you can do. Now that the fire is already there, it will burn. Yeah. Only pray that it doesn't burn your home. That's it. If it doesn't burn your home, you're safe. But if it does, then you can do nothing about it. So before letting that spark out, we should think what we are doing, what could be the implication. Now, there has been also instances where people are putting small parties nowadays because of many other reasons. These have been reduced at their office canteen. But you know what? In their pantry area, there could be a notice board where HR has sent out some, and that is seen at the background. So these things are very, very sensitive. You may be thinking of little fun, but the little fun can come back and hit you.
Yeah, totally agree.
Very true. Yeah,
totally agree. I mean, nowadays we take a lot of selfie, right? Forgetting about what's in the backdrop, right? What's happening in the back.
Correct.
There may be sensitive information, clues about where you are, what you're doing and when. And when you post it, and that's it, right? It's somewhere in the internet already.
Yeah.
Right? That part cannot go away. So I think maybe coming back to William, really, I mean, in terms of like, identity theft, right? I mean, we talk about, Saboji also talk about phishing scams, keyloggers and all those things. How can a viewer on this channel now, how can they, have some tips in terms of what they should do and what they shouldn't do, right? Especially when a email that comes in says that, hey, I'm from SingPost, I have this parcel, can you click this link, to collect your parcel or whatever. Right? How they should react to that? What are the steps they should take to validate whether that is a real, genuine email before they click on it?
Definitely, I think that one would be what we call phishing email. I think besides that, I think I want to also resonate with one of the point that Subhajit mentioned about the separation of personal and professional. I think the other thing I want to analogy to this is your account. A lot of time, people using social media account, the password will be the same password they use for their business account. They'll use for other accounts as well. So if you are breached in one of these account, indirectly means that the same account and the password, they can use it to log into social media. I think one of these things that you need to take note about that. Second thing is that if you receive any email or anything that you're unsure, or the sender that you're not very sure, you do not even know them from the email address or the name itself, you should exercise cautious in going through the email itself, especially if the email or the mail itself asks you to click certain thing or click certain link to download all these thing, or go into a certain website or this thing. You have to be careful because first of all, the red flag already indicate that this sender is someone that you do not know, or the worst case, it could be CC to a group of people. You can also using that as an indicator to say to look at the CC to a group of people that you don't even know them. You should raise a red flag that this will be highly potential is a phishing email. Do not click anything. Do not download anything. Of course, you can go through the content of the email. Typically in a phishing email, they will write exacerbate about all those things or things that you don't sound logical at all, or things that you are not actually working on, but somehow you receive an email indicating you're doing something. Okay. So you have to be careful about this, especially once you click the email or download something or link, you're potentially able to put in some of this malware into your system or into your desktop or notebook that you're working on. And the worst case I mentioned, if using the same account and password for other things, if breach into your account, definitely it means that they're also able to breach into your social media account and looking at what you actually have inside your social media.
Yeah, agree. I mean, in the past, we always get those scam emails say that, your long lost relative from
Yes,
somewhere.
correct.
You inherited how many $1 million? Please,
Yes.
contact us immediately to arrange, something. And then in the end, they actually ask you to pay some money first to do administration before they actually send you the money. I mean, look at it, it's that, first of all, you don't really have a relative, but just that it seems like it's a very good inheritance, right? Those are the phishing emails. It's like, what? It can't be true.
Yeah.
So I think, definitely. I guess, from Subhajit, like we talk about all these links, things that got downloaded, the malware and all those things. Would a good antivirus, anti-malware software installed on your laptop and PCs, would that be sufficient to protect you against some of these theft?
Okay. For spams, anti-malware don't really stop them, but having anti-malware or antivirus and having it updated, keeping it updated is really a good thing. Because in case by mistake you click on something, at least there is a high chance that you may be still saved. Your antivirus can maybe still stop and block it. Okay, so I'm not sure. I cannot say it will, but very, very high chance you maybe. A few other thing is enable multi-factor. Now, today's date, if you go to Microsoft, if you go to Google, they all have a second factor authentication, soft token. It can be installed in your mobile phone, any platform. It can be on your desktop, where even if you think that, hey, my password may be not so strong, it is not possible to remember so many passwords, what to do? So have a second factor authentication that can stop you from getting easily hacked. And even places like Facebook and Twitter and many other, there is this second factor authentication in emails, public emails. There are such things. So use them so that if someone tries to hack, you will know. It happened to my wife, her Instagram, she received a message a few months earlier that someone from US is accessing her, Instagram. So immediately she got alerted, and it so happened few hours earlier. So by the time she knew, it was night there, and she immediately changed the password to a very strong password. And ever since we are monitoring and we didn't find it. So these are things, be conscious, look at your, social media for any kind of malicious activity, something suspicious. And as well, change your passwords. Try to have a strong password. How strong is a password? You can go to CSA and there is a link where you can put your password and see how strong your password is. So keep it a strong password, at least 1,000 years to break. It's not very difficult. A 10, 12 character password with some alphanumeric with a capital letter and some, and something which is
Symbols,
special character
characters.
symbols. You can enhance it. Now, if you cannot remember, what I do is, I don't suggest that you use this particular one, which I'm going to say now. Say Mary had a little lamb, which is a passphrase. You use this Mary had a little lamb, but change some alphabets, T's and L's into one and something to a hash or @ and use it with some capital small letter. Your thing will be much stronger. Okay.
Agreed.
But don't use Mary had a little lamb. Use something else.
we don't say that that's a good passphrase to use, man.
Yeah, but use something similar. Give an example. And always remember, if something is too good to be true, it probably is.
Yeah.
Don't fall into the greed, because they take advantage of our weak points, and that is where we fall, and it really hurts. I've seen people who have lost a lot.
Yeah.
And there's nothing much we could do.
Agree. In my experience, there's also one very good way of creating strong password. One way is you just key in any password. Keep it any cryptic password that you don't need to remember. The reason for that is because, like what my friend did, is that he does that and he set up 2FA. After that, every time he access, he click forget password. Then they'll send him an email, right? Ask him to reset his password. Right? So he never need to, every time it's a one-time use password. So that's troublesome lah. I mean, all accounts is like that. It's very painful.
No, but if your key accounts are like that, I think it's good, because convenience comes with a flip side, which is insecurity.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, agree. I mean, I've my wife's side, the office always tell me, use a long password, 16 character, but it's like, if it's so difficult, you need to write it down. When you write it down somewhere, it's not safe. It defeats the purpose. So maybe William, can suggest, any ways of, making sure that it's strong enough, safe enough. How do you protect your own identity password?
I think coming back to the password, I think a lot of times people are practicing things like, for example, to help them remember to maybe this time they use this password. The next time they use half of the password, the original password, and add in the other half with a new character or whatever. I think this is very dangerous because once your password is breached, actually they can guess. A lot of people can guess. They use some of these tool mechanism in the market. They can try a lot of this whatever dictionary crack or whatever to try out. So I think to protect, I think there are many ways that I think one of the method that Subhajit mentioned about using the phrase itself and pick up from there and create your own password. That's one way. Of course, the other way is that something that a lot of time people are using the passphrase. The second thing is mentioned that we keep mentioning about this as two-factor authentication. I think this is something that will help you to keep your, not just a password, the password hygiene itself, but also another factor to authenticate that you are the real identity that's accessing the account itself. Of course, there are many ways to look at how you create password. There are password vault, there are password manager that can help you to generate the password or this thing and able to keep the password for you. And in some of these cases, they also single log in using the token itself. Once your password are done, you create the token and the token using the token rather than the password. So there are many of these tool mechanisms in the market that help you. The only thing that important and missing out is the education. You need to know that you are doing this thing. You are doing the right thing, the hygiene. You need to take care of this. No tool, no method can help you if you are the one who creating all this problem. Creating all this possible breach for people. Okay. So again, I think education is very important as well to understand that you don't create a single password using for all your account. Try to use as much tool as possible mechanism to using password vault or whatever to create password, so that's make it easy, make it difficult for people to guess, and you can use it to using a second factor to do the login. So all these mechanism and tools are there to help you in terms of the password and account protection, the hygiene itself. I think make full use of it. Make full use of this.
Great advice. Great advice. So,
well, if you guys can see, there is, this is a small device. It costs about $30-$40 or less than that, $20 something. I forgot now how much I bought it for. You can insert it and get authenticated for your web, services. You don't have to work on passwords. So slowly in future, we may be moving into passwordless authentication, which in security, we talk about FIDO and FIP standard. Well, you don't need to fiddle about that, but always remember, do something to add more. Like security is like an onion, more you peel, more secure, more layer, the more secure it is.
Make it difficult. Make it difficult for hackers to try on you.
So don't depend on one layer. Use multi-layer, so it becomes a little bit more. You also make life very difficult for yourself.
I think there's always an inconvenience.
Yes.
Yeah. Right. You want to have secure, there's certain inconvenience that you need to accept.
You have like 7 layers of locks.
But don't use one single key to open the 7-layer lock.
Great advice, man. Right, so I think this is a very interesting topic that we are all still very involved. So I'd like to thank my two panelists, Savojit and William, for their time to share with all the audience here in terms of the insight. I hope that you guys find this topic and discussion very interesting. For more information, you can visit us on Cloud Security Alliance Singapore chapter on our LinkedIn page and Facebook page as well. Great. Thank you so much, guys. And I wish all the viewers a good day ahead.
Thank you, Stephen.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Stay safe and be happy. Okay?
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.